What's good, y'all? Today we're going to be looking over the Season 5.0 roadmap for Marvel Rivals. So I'm going to cover each week and then I'm going to give my thoughts and a brief review of Season 4 at the end. So if you want to keep up with Marvel Rivals and you want to see more roadmap coverage like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. But we're going to go ahead and get into our first week, November 14th. And this is going to be the longest one. This will probably be half the video, honestly. But first off, we have our new hero, Gambit. He is a strategist and he is our first X-Men healer. And I know people are taking issue with that, but the guy throws cards, all right? Like, are we really mad that his cards can heal people? You know, just have an open mind. And if you really enjoy the character, then it really shouldn't matter what role they're in, okay? And yeah, hey, who knows? You might find that you love it. And then with Gambit comes some new costumes. So Gambit's getting a Thief Guild Master suit, and Magneto is getting his Temporal Tyrant, and they're also getting a team up together. So Magneto is pretty much getting his sword team up back. And while we're on the topic of skins, we have a new event, the Elder's Chessboard, and Spider-Man is getting his 1 millionth skin, the Iron Spider. Hey, at least it's free. And then we can't talk about skins without talking about the Battle Pass, the Grand Garden Adventure. So Namor is getting this kind of captain skin. Scarlet Witch is getting a classic skin. Ultron is getting his Infinity skin from the What If series. Angela is getting a tournament skin from season 4, Heart of the Dragon, the kind of Kunlun skin that she had in the gallery card. Groot is getting a Guardian skin. The Thing is getting one of his cooler recolors. Hela is getting her Merciful Queen, I believe it's called. The white skin, I think it looks pretty nice. Adam is getting his first good skin since season 1, which was also in a battle pass, but this one is free. Black Widow is getting a pretty sick blue skin, and Punisher is getting this Frankenstein Punisher, Franken Punisher, or Franken Castle, whatever you want to call him. And next up, we are getting some new accessories. There's a bunch of them this time around. Thor is getting this kind of frog, Kermit kind of plush. Loki is getting a Gator Loki. Moon Knight is getting Khonshu. Star-Lord is getting this music player. Mantis is getting her bestie, Drax with a sax. Gambit is getting Rogue. Human Torch is getting Spider-Man. Magic is getting Kitty Pryde. Wolverine is getting X-23. And Phoenix is getting Cyclops. And probably one of the biggest things that they show on here for this week is the new map, Times Square. So this is a New York inspired stage. And it kind of came about because a lot of people have been playing in practice Doom match and they just kind of goof around and have fun. They don't really battle in there anymore. So they kind of took inspiration from that and made a full-on stage out of it. And it can hold 100 people. 100 people can join and just hang out, goof around, dance. And they've shown like trailers and stuff in here. They show like promotional stuff. You know, if it's anything like the Street Fighter lobbies, they might show, you know, tournaments. They might show, you know, new events and things like that. They might show it here. And I think that'll be another really cool reason to come here, especially if, you know, since this is Times Square, if they have like a New Year's kind of event and they play it on the screens here, I think that'd be really awesome. So hopefully they do something with that. And before we move on to the next few weeks, I did want to talk about a few things that aren't listed. So one big thing is that tanks are getting buffed, and these aren't your usual buffs. So Angela's little charge move is getting an increase in speed, and her ultimate is getting more health, so it'll be harder to take down. Penny's webs will now allow her teammates to get the same kind of healing and movement boost that she does. They even get bonus health for standing on them long enough. Magneto is able to put a bubble around himself and a teammate, so you don't have to use one for either or anymore. So yes, he's getting double bubbles. They will take a little bit less damage, however, you know, sometimes all you need to do is block and ult. And speaking of ults, Captain America's ult gives a 30% boost to his teammates' ult charge. Groot's big wall gives him CC immunity pretty much, so no stuns and everything like that for Groot, which will make him a much better tank. Whenever Hulk's clap gets a direct hit, it takes a second off of his Gamma Shield cooldown. The thing is getting a bunch of tweaks, buffs, and debuffs that, you can just read them for yourself. And Thor is getting absolutely nothing. And a couple free things, we are getting another round of Twitch drops. So Phoenix is getting a Will of Galactus skin. And as always, they come with a new emote, a nameplate, and a spray. If you don't know how to get these, you pretty much link your Marvel Rivals account to your Twitch. And then you just, watch some Marvel Rivals content that has the drops enabled. And, you can get a free skin. And for this first week, we are getting a Take a Seat emote, and it's available from the 14th to the 21st. And lastly, in terms of comp, we are having this blue Gambit skin for a rank reward this season. And we are also getting placement matches, so we no longer have to worry about that dreaded arbitrary rank drop that you get every season. Now you can play in 10 placement matches, and that will, however well you do will determine where you're placed for that season, and they'll keep that up every season. Okay, now moving on to November 21st, we are getting Magic and Strange skins. So Magic has these kind of PJs, and she has them in her normal form and her Dark Child form. It's slightly different. And then Strange is getting this nice swaggy kind of suit that he has on with his top hat. It looks really sharp. It's awesome. And then November 28th, the kind of middle of this first half season, we are getting an anniversary event, Galactus Live anniversary costume. So yes, this game has been out for almost a year at this point, and if you're anything like me, you've been playing since it came out, and it's been a blast. And so one notable thing about this is that Jeff is getting his 1 millionth skin, and at least this one is free. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also the same event where they'll be giving 2,500 units. I kid you not. And other than those free things, we are getting some new skins for Blade, Venom, and Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic. And outside of that, arguably the highlight of this season is that we are not only getting another new map, the Grand Garden, but we are getting another new mode. And this is an 18v18 mode. I think the team comp's gonna go crazy in that. I'm really excited to see this. I'm all for new modes. And then we get to December 5th. Luna and Psylocke are getting these matching skins. And they have this listed as Rivals Day 2025. I don't know what Rivals Day is. They haven't elaborated on it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be some cool new event, celebration. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we get some new free stuff on top of that. And this also marks the end of Marvel Zombies. So, this will be like the last day of Marvel Zombies mode. So if you hadn't gotten your units up until that point, you should probably, participate in the event. They have, however, confirmed that it will return, and, it'll be reworked and it'll come back at another time. And lastly, on December 12th, we will be getting Rogue in Season 5.5. And if I had to guess, she's probably going to be a tank, and she's probably going to steal some tank abilities. All right, and before we close, I did want to briefly talk about Season 4 and give a little review. So with Season 4, we got the characters Daredevil and Angela, and I think these were great additions to the roster. Daredevil was a pretty solid DPS character, and Angela gave us not only a new tank, but a flying tank. And I think they've been really great for the meta. They've really shaken things up. These are probably the best sets of characters that we've had since the Fantastic Four. And we also just had a lot more people to play the game because we had PS4 players. And I know that was really rough at the beginning of the season, but they kind of cleaned it up so the matchmaking was a little bit better. There was a lot less lag and spikes and everything like that. On top of that, they also gave us some returning modes. They had Clone Rumble, Giant Size Brain Blast. They had some new arcade modes coming. They had the free battle. Outside of that, the Halloween event was really dope. I really like whenever they do the little board game thing. It's really fun. And on the same day, they had the Zombies mode, and Zombies mode was probably the best mode to come to Marvel Rivals, okay? They're even gonna, rework it and bring it back. They even had to extend it. That's how you know how good Zombies was. And outside of that, they even gave us some surprise stuff. So they gave us the Iron Man skin a bit earlier. They gave us a Galactus gift part 2, which Galactus gift part 1 was awesome. I love Galactus gift. I love getting the Chrono tokens. And speaking of Chrono, we got another Chrono Storm this season. They started it last season and then they brought it back this season, which was a pleasant surprise. And again, they extended the Zombies mode. So what were some of the downfalls of this season? One big thing was that they released the map in the middle of the season. That was kind of weird. We started a season with no new map. So, and the other thing was that they did kind of play their hand a bit too early by giving us the Iron Man skin a week early, because they released the skin and the bonus events all at the same time. So that last week we had like no new stuff coming, and then we didn't get any stuff like trailers for Gambit or anything like that until like this week. So that pretty much made that last week, or that second to last week, really dry. I think it was great that they gave us the Iron Man stuff early, but I think they should have saved the Chrono Storm and Galactus gift for that like final week, so that we had something else to do outside of just waiting for the next season. And lastly, the matchmaking was still dog crap. It was still not the greatest time to play ranked matches. However, with all that being said, I still think that this probably was the best season of the year. There was just so much to do outside of matchmaking. You had zombies to play, you had new modes. I still play a lot of free battle. You know, you can go play Clone Rumble. There was a lot of stuff to do, and it was all exciting. So hopefully this next season can kind of keep up that same momentum. But yeah, I think last season was the best season. So let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this next season? Were you disappointed with last season? Let me know all that in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And I'm out.